It is Wednesday lunchtime. It's Jim White, it's Simon Jordan, and it's Danny Murphy. Simon and Danny, both of whom were scouted at an early age in the game. Danny went on to do reasonable things with Liverpool.
Scouted as opposed to outed.
Simon did nothing in the game. But on the field of play, that is. Behind the scenes, Mr. Jordan, of course, became a national treasure. But having said that, Chris Robinson, head of academy recruitment at Southampton, formerly at Chelsea, he has his book out, and it's a good one. The Scouting Game: An Insider's Guide to Talent Spotting Football's Next Stars. Simon, we're talking about him.
He spoke well.
He spoke very well. And we were talking about this. Chris saying that we don't get a lot of respect, scouts. I think you rightly pointed out recognition maybe is a more accurate word than respect.
Yeah, they don't get any recognition for the fact that they were the ones that uncovered some of the gold and sifted it for people.
Well, actually, they do. I know that, maybe not Chris, but I know plenty of scouts who, if their player then goes on to greater things,
they get a kicker,
get a little kicker. Yeah. So that in itself is recognition.
And in essence, that's right. But what they're probably also talking about is the attribution of an outcome, which is people talk about the player coming into the first team, which manager made them into a player, but which guy found them, which guy identified the talent, which guy did there's gold in them hills and then sifted it and handed it on to other people to say, I'll give you the boy, you turn him into a man. And there isn't that recognition. The names of scouts don't trip off our tongues.
No, because the majority of top players, really, I mean, it's like, I don't know, you finding an elephant in a phone box. The best players stand out like a mile. You're not missing them. You just got to be lucky enough to get them to that club, and that depends on the power of the club and the power of Scout House to offer financial reward.
The value of doing that and getting scouts to get players to the right clubs, because sometimes it's the environment that creates the outcome.
Right.
So in part, it's not just getting a good player, because the world's littered with good players. It's also putting them in the right place at the right time.
Well, I think I'm right in saying that the lad now they're talking about 100 million at Southampton, Tyler Dibling. I think he went to Chelsea for a brief time and hated it. Really? Wanted to go back home.
I mean, it's a responsible gig. If you've got a good scout, you're onto a good thing.
It's hard work, though. My brother's done it for years.
Yeah, it's hard work.
My brother's done it for years, and he.
It's time consuming.
Yeah, and also especially for European, because you've got to go to 1 minute you're on a plane to, I don't know, where tournament in Liechtenstein, and then.
But it's like everything else. You only get out of it what you put into it. I mean,
but they're dream makers as well. They are dream makers because they are capturing kids and giving them opportunities. Yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is, less so for Danny because he was at a stage, when I was a kid growing up, the ability to get scouted for a football club was a revelation. And now it's different now. With the academy set up and youth development, you've only got to play a couple of games on a Sunday afternoon on a Sunday side, and you'll get picked up with an opportunity. Yeah. I'm not diminishing the role of scouts in that respect.
No.
And scouts, again, what you're scouting for and who you're scouting about, in terms of first-team managers will bring in their own scouting network. There are very different roles for scouts in terms of buying for the first team against recruiting for the academy.
Who employed the scouts when you were at Palace? Was it you? Was it the manager? Was it a mixture of both?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
I wanted a scouting network that was independent of the manager to some extent, because the managers came and go.
But certainly under you they did.
Well, they did, but under most owners, right? But yes, for the purpose of this conversation, so you can land your cheap.
Yeah, you wanted some consistency in the.
Yeah, you want a consistency of thinking and thought processes. Yeah. And you want to keep data, and you want to be able to evaluate it, because the big thing about football is a lack of accountability. Everyone says things on the back of a fag packet, and then when you make them accountable for it, they don't like it, like medical records and getting us across what people do and don't do. And one of the things that I wanted to do was dig deep into the data to go, why are we doing these things? Why do these things happen? Why are players being recruited for our academy? What kind of players are we recruiting? Why are players going to other football clubs that are in our catchment area? And that then drives an agenda and a motivation, and scouting formed a really fundamental part of the core structure of doing that. And that's why I know that they need to be respected, not respected because he used that terminology, recognised a little bit more.
Sure. Enjoyed that. Chris, thank you again if you're still listening. Chris Robinson, head of academy recruitment at Southampton, one time at Chelsea, a decade plus at Chelsea. When we come back, right up Danny Street, not scouting but Merseyside derbies. There's one tonight. They're always huge. This will be no different. Liverpool, Chelsea. We're going to hear from David Moyes.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.